Good morning. Thanks for joining us out here this morning for an update on overnight developments in the NuStar incident. I'm Steve Hill, Fire Public Information Officer. Excuse me. The headlines overnight are the fires that burned yesterday afternoon and into yesterday evening are both out. We are continuing to work to ensure we don't have a recurrence of those fires this morning and throughout the day. I'll explain what that means in just a moment. San Pablo Avenue is open, completely open in both directions, and we're about to open within the hour coming skyway that we're on right here. That'll open in the next hour. And you may be able to see in the background, your viewers may be able to see that we have a team in the facility now assessing it. They got in at first light and they're assessing the situation in daylight. So here are the details. We have 6 fire apparatus on scene right now. 2 of them are being provided by PMAO, that's the Petrochemical Mutual Aid Organization, and they're providing 2 chief officers. They're from Marathon and Chevron, our industry partners in this incident. The other 4 fire engines and crews are from Crockett Fire Department and the Rodeo Hercules Fire Protection District. They will remain on scene until the situation is completely mitigated and there's no threat of a reoccurrence of the fires. We don't know exactly when that will be. Their jobs throughout the day today will be keep those foam blankets that we talked a lot about yesterday on top of the two where the fires were yesterday, where the tanks that were destroyed in those fires, to ensure we don't have a rekindle of those fires. One of the things that the assessment team that's in the facility right now is doing is they're looking at a solution to mitigating the vapor emissions that are coming off of both of those where the tank locations were. I guess I should describe that. What's happened is the 2 tanks that burned were more or less destroyed in the fires. You can see them actually behind me here. And the secondary containment facilities, which are earthen berms around those tanks, are now holding the remainders of the materials that were in the tanks, and the material was ethanol in both cases. We're keeping foam on both of those former tank sites to ensure we don't get a rekindle, and that's what those firefighters are doing there today. There's no longer a need to cool the adjacent tanks, which we were doing all day yesterday. Another thing that this assessment team is doing is, and NuStar is part of that, is determining how to remove the materials in both of those secondary containment structures down there, which will then completely mitigate the risk of fire. We're also examining the infrastructure to see what the possibilities are in terms of removing those materials, because some of that infrastructure, the pipes and valves and that sort of thing, were damaged in the fires, of course. There is we talked a lot yesterday about adjacent tanks that we were concerned about their structural integrity and their exposure to fire and flame. We're examining one in particular. We have some concerns about its structural integrity. We believe that it is safe. We want to make absolutely sure, and so that assessment team is in there looking at that one tank right now. The rest of the tanks we were concerned about all day yesterday, we've determined they maintain their structural integrity. They're safe. Cal OSHA is on scene with that assessment team, and we're making determinations now about next steps. I expect soon after this update, I'll probably get an update from that assessment team, and we'll probably do at least one more update later this morning. The entire incident is under investigation, and at this time, Fire's Fire Investigation Unit is leading that investigation. I imagine there'll be some determination about what other agencies need to be involved, but it's a little bit early for that right now. And I anticipate you'll probably have questions about the causes of the fire and all that, but the answer is going to be, which you've heard many times before, it's far too early to know, and the fire, it's under investigation. Overnight, there was one firefighter who sustained minor injuries. He was treated and released. He was a Chevron firefighter, and he was treated by Chevron and released. And
What
with that, I will take your questions.
happened to him?
I don't know the exact extent of his injuries. They were related to the actual heat and the fire. I don't have the specifics.